Hi, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I think it's well overdue. Um, when I'm doing my little outros, I always talk about the content that I create, and as you see in my playlist, that I have a playlist for deep dives. And for the longest time, there's only been one video there, and I need to step it up a little bit and show you what I have been working with for some time. And so this is going to be the second in this series. If you've watched any of my videos hardly at all, then you know that my workhorse deck, my number one go-to, is This Might Hurt by Isabella Rotman. And this is one of only a few. There's only a few decks that I have more than one copy of. And this was the first. And I have the indie version that I bought directly with the holographic, with the pearl holographic edges that I bought directly from Isabella's website. I did not get in on the Kickstarter. Um, I missed all of that, but I was fortunate enough that I saw people, and to be frankly honest, I need to say, let me give you a little bit of my history with this deck. I kept hearing people talk about this deck. This might hurt, this might hurt. And it, just the name of the deck put me off a little bit. I don't know why, but it did. And then when I saw the emblem for the deck, I have an extreme fear of snakes. And so to see this snake biting its own tail, that really bothered me a lot. Um, Now, I need to say that um, I've been conditioned a little bit. I'm working on my fear with snakes, and I have a friend who is a kitchen witch, and she made me some type of concoction. Um, it's in a candle form, and it's also in herbs that I burn in my home. I have a neighbor who has snakes, and I share a wall with her. And so my friend knew my phobia, and she created these, um, I don't know, spells, I guess, for lack of a better word, um, for me to help me to work on my fear with snakes, because I had it in my head they was going to come into my apartment. And she said that's not the case. And that hasn't been the case. They live there, I live here. And with what she has created for me, thank you, Donna, for what she has created for me, they have helped me immensely with my fear. But back to what we're here to talk about. This might hurt. This scared me a lot and put me off on the deck. And so then I went to seeing more flip throughs, and I was like, oh my God, this deck is a beautiful deck. And the images just jumped out at me. Um, we'll get more into that in a moment. I mentioned having two decks. Of course, I had to get also Liminal 11's mass market version. Um, I just had to. I had to see what the difference was going to be. I had to see, and I also done it with the intent that I could put this one up since it was an indie and use the mass market since it was going to be a cheaper version of the deck, and really put the work in on it. But this one, I still love this. This might hurt, but I have a special relationship and a special connection with this copy. This deck here is my workhorse, my number one deck that I work with. I read it seamlessly. I read it effortlessly. The artwork that I was alluding to a while ago. The artwork. Some people say it's cartoonish. Okay, I've got the perfect card to show up. Some people say it's cartoonish. I guess you could say that in one sense. Isabella Rotman makes no secret of doing cartoon work, and some of her other interests, and so you know, it only stood to reason that that is her style, that would be depicted here. Maybe that is what made this so, I believe that might be one of the reasons why it was so easy for me to connect with so quickly, and for me to be able to read so effortlessly. I was learning Rider-Waite-Smith, and you know, those traditional images are a little stodgy. And I don't want to say put off, because I love my Rider-Waite-Smith, and I love my, you know, I love the original artwork that Pixie did. And I know how to read it, and that's what I've learned on. That's what I cut my teeth on. But Isabella just took me to another place with her artwork. One, it's more modern, more inclusive than the traditional. I mean, where's this card with his head? You didn't see that in the original Rider-Waite-Smith. As fabulous and as great as it was, you didn't see someone who's not able-bodied. You did not see people of other races. You did not see people of other ages. I mean, here he's silver-haired man. This is the Ten of Pentacles. This is a whole family. We've got the fur babies. We've got the newborn. We've got mama. We've got daddy. And we got grandpa. You didn't see that in traditional Rider-Waite. And so these modern images, these more inclusive images, and maybe with that little bit of cartoon flair, is just what made this deck my deck. It just spoke to me in a way nothing else ever had before. And it was so easy for me to take those images of pixies and incorporate them into this. I mean, this is a clone. Don't get it twisted. This is a Rider-Waite clone. But this was exactly what I needed to take me to the next level of my tarot reading. And I don't think that I would have an understanding of the Rider-Waite that I have without this deck. I really don't. There's just... I don't know what other words to describe the relationship that I have with this deck. And like Five of Swords, you know, it's confrontation, conflict. But she gets that across. But it's not like right up in your face. Like I'm trying to stab you, I'm trying to kill you. This is... You know, we're disagreeing. There's conflict here. Then it gives a new take on Nine of Cups. You know, he's not just sitting there with a bunch of cups behind him. It's showing he's the potter. And he's making his cups. And this is his wish fulfilled. Is... advancing his craft. Now, I'm not trying to confuse pentacles with cups, but This is how I read this. Our high priestess. She's sitting on the moon, the light in the dark trees, moon behind her. She's sitting on the crescent. She has her book of knowledge in her hand. I mean, it's just, all the symbolism is there in the cards. Isabella put it all here, you know. The Nine of Swords, all the worry, nightmarish. You know, what else could be more nightmarish than to have 9 swords sticking around your head? I mean, but it shows you what the worry and what the anxiety. I mean, you can read true anxiety in this card. 10 of Cups. It's still a family. Mama, Daddy Bird, and the babies in the nest. The Page. Here we have the World with that snake chewing its own tail again. But I was able to read this deck, to work with this deck, and whether the message, and I had a conversation here lately in another video that I did, people talking about toxic positivity. And I had asked, what the hell is toxic positivity? Because I didn't understand the concept. And I had asked in the video for, you know, somebody watching my video to please help me understand what this means. And I got a wonderful definition that I could put my teeth into, is that it's somebody who does not acknowledge that there can even be a storm and that there can even be difficult times, that they just, you know, slide it up under the rug and look over it. And I had a difficulty with that because I'm kind of like polypositive. I'm always looking for the silver lining in something. And I'm always looking for, you know, just because you got a bad reading, well, I don't want to say bad, just because you got a difficult reading, just because the cards are telling you something that might not be that easy to hear, or something that you might not want to hear, but what you need to hear, doesn't mean that it still can't have a positive element in it. And that is not toxic positivity. And so decks like this, this deck could tell me exactly what I needed to hear, but not in, and I don't want to say that she don't get confrontational, because some of these cards is right there in your face, but could put it to me in a way that I could still find, like 5 of Cups. That's not one of your best cards that you want to look forward to getting. He's got 3 broke cups. He's crying over spilt milk. He's not even, all he's got to do is turn around and he's got these other 2 cups behind him. And they say, well, you know, focus on the cups that what fills your cups, what, you know, what joy fills your cups that you can connect with, instead of crying over what you've lost. And then he's got help available to him. Here is the castle across the river. All he's got to do is go right back here, cross over the bridge, and you know, he can get a different perspective, and some help available to him to get past this grief. He don't have to be stuck in his grief for these 3 cups that he's lost. You know, it's a choice. I also liked that, you know, she showed some big girls. It wasn't always somebody, you know, Miss Skinny Minnie. It's not always somebody skinny minnie. That, you know, there's some of us real women in the world too. I liked that. He's kind of sitting back with his big belly and his glass of wine. And, you know, body image for men as well as women. I kind of like this one, the 8 of Swords. You always see the swords flying through the air, and they talk about fast movement. Well, very few things is quite as fast as a deer, a rabbit, and a squirrel. Now, them is some 3 fast-moving things. So, I kind of chuckled when I seen that card. Made it real easy for me to grasp onto that, yeah, this is some swift movement. Things is going pretty good. Adversary. We got 7 of Wands. It's a challenge. But I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up. I got my bow. I'm going to stand my ground. Come on, bring it. I don't know how else to say it. I really don't. I don't know how else to convey. And I feel like I want to make sure that I give this deck the proper time. And when I look up here, I see that, you know, I haven't really spent a lot of time in this video so far. But I mean, to me, it's so blatantly obvious of why this is my number 1, my workhorse. How easy and effortlessly it is for me to read. And, you know, not only do I read this, but when I look at these images, I can feel the message that's being conveyed, as well as reading it. I can feel it. You know, I've been in this place. Matter of fact, I'm in this place right now. Truth be told, 4 of Pentacles. I'm scared to death that I don't have enough to meet my obligations this month. But that don't mean me holding on to every last thing. You know, I've got to trust that the universe is going to provide. And that if I continue to do the work, that it will be, that it will be made available to me. Sometimes you just have to walk away. There's nothing else more that can be said or done. It's just time to just, enough is enough. Trying to find balance. Oh, I'm juggling 2 things at once. Nine of Wands. Well, he's showing you that, you know, I'm going to say he's looking at his bills. He's feeling a little overwhelmed too. He's like, oh my goodness, now, what are we going to do about this? But, and then this rascal, he's done grabbed up all the swords and's running off with them. He's trying to get away with something. Sneaking, thieving. I liked that the Hermit was a female. Doesn't always have to be. And it's a younger female. It's not necessarily, you know, the Hermit, they always show him as an older graying man, kind of like the wizard, and in his lantern, and he's going to hide in his cave. Well, yeah, I feel that way sometimes. But it shows me that, you know, I can be a hermit too. I don't have to be an old gray-headed man to be a hermit. I can be a hermit too. Two of Wands. We're planning our next adventure. We're going to sit on the hood of the car. We're going to look at the map. And we're going to decide where we're going. And then we're going to hit the road. Five of Wands. We got some conflict and some confrontation going. Everybody's trying to do too much at the same time. This is why, I mean, this might hurt. This is why this deck is my workhorse. And then when you read the guidebook, I mean, you have a black and white of each card and then a little write-up. And, well, just for shits and giggles, we went to Ace of Swords. Cut through the bullshit. Aces represents beginnings and the essence of the suit. Swords are intellect. The Ace of Swords is honest perception. Most of other swords in tarot are held at an angle to suggest logic tempered by flexibility or emotion. Not here. This sword held straight up and down. Whether you like it or not, the Ace of Swords is truth. At its best, the Ace of Swords is when you know that you are right. Sometimes this comes as an innate flash of knowledge, and sometimes it comes through research. Notice the dark clouds surrounding the sword without obstructing it. Assumptions and feelings do not factor in. This is a card for setting aside how you feel about an issue in favor of objectively recognizing what is actually happening. This isn't intuition, it's knowledge. If the Ace of Swords comes for you at a time when you aren't feeling this unbridled confidence in your judgment, then it's time to cut through the conflicting feelings. The Ace of Swords is double-edged. Most likely the truth that you need to discover is about yourself. See, I mean, what's not to like? I mean, she just took the meanings and brought them to me on an entirely different level, visually. And it's not literal, but well, this is visual too, I guess you could argue. But the guidebook, I mean, it's just so straightforward. And like that Ace of Swords, it cuts through the bullshit and gets right to the crust of what the meaning of the card is. And she does that in several, I think for just about every card, that if this pops up in your reading, that it can take this or this or this meaning. And I just absolutely love the guidebook. I love the deck. I like how much it has propelled my understanding and my tarot readings to the next level. And this is what this copy done for me. And then when I got the mass market, like I said, my initial, and this is the box, and you know, they done a beautiful job. My initial plan was to, you know, put my indie up, like I said, and to use this. To be frankly honest, I'm not a big fan of this real glossy cardstock. Maybe I need to work with it more. I even sat down and edged the deck because the backs are shades of blue. So I edged the deck in blue to try to help me connect more with this copy, with this deck. And I think what I really need to do more than anything else is just go ahead and set this other one aside and work with this one a little bit more. And the artwork is exactly the same. The meanings are going to be the exact same. The only difference in the book is that the pictures are in color. And for the major arcana. And for the minor, you still see, like this is the Ace of Wands, and that's the picture on the Ace of Wands, but it's in color at the edge of the page. But the write-up is the same identical write-up in the original book. Not a single word was changed. I don't know if they added, right off the top of my head, let me look and see. Did they add different information in this guidebook that wasn't in the original? The introduction, history, reading, different spreads, breakdown of each of the suits, what the numbered cards means, what the court cards means, and reverse card meanings. All of that is in the original book. And I'm thinking that from what I'm seeing here, every bit of that is also here. Well, no, not all of it. It doesn't go into a deep dive into the numbered cards or into, let me look at the front before I tell a lie. Introduction, Gender and Tarot, Major Arcana. No, it doesn't go into, the original book went into what each of the numbered cards means. Like the ones in every suit means this, and the fives in every suit has a general meaning of this. It does that in this book, and it also goes into, she talks about each of the different suits, but she also talks about the pages represents youth, students in the beginnings of things. Pages are at the start of their journey through the suit, and they're very enthusiastic about it, though they are not masters in what their suit has to teach them. They are committed to figuring it out. A page is an optimistic and encouraging beginning, and that helped me a lot of how she went into descriptive detail about what the court cards was, the pages, the knights, the queens, the kings. And in here she also talks about gender and tarot, and she does that in this one too, gender and tarot. But she does, this book doesn't go into the numbered cards and the courts like the original guidebook does. But I guess that's those are the, well, yes it does. Here it is. Suit of Swords, Suit of Pentacles. All right, there's a section called Major Arcana. All right, it's between the Major Arcana. It's in a different part of the book. And the Minor Arcana, she goes into about each of the suits, then the numbered cards, and then there it is about the court cards. So it's still here. It's just located differently in the book. The other major difference between the two versions of the deck is that in the mass market, there was a deluxe edition that you could buy that had the This Might Hurt Tarot and a This Might Help Oracle. I did not have the money to buy that, so I went with just the mass market deck. I wished I'd had the money. Maybe I can still get it at a future date. But at the time, I wasn't in a position to afford it. In this deck, though, they did include a This Might Help and a This Might Hurt card. And I will just read this to you because I think this card is a great addition to the deck. This might hurt, this might heal. A girl and a wolf cycle between tender affection and a difficult struggle in the upright position. The girl tenderly holds the wolf, in the downward position. She tenderly holds the wolf. In the downward position, the girl and the wolf are hooked in a desperate battle. The figures are cyclical, with 4 symbols of the minor arcana in the corners. See, wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. Suggesting the struggle and peace are temporary positions in a never-ending cycle. The wolf represents the external world. Risk is inherent in a well-lived life. There will be vibrant joy, crushing pain, and multitudes in between. All experiences that are meaningful, that are truly joyful, can also bring you the most pain. Lord knows that is true. In the downward position, with the girl and the wolf fighting at the top, it suggests a time of great difficulty. The external world has bitten you. Times are hard and you are reacting to that hardship. In order to return to equilibrium, acceptance is key. If you fight what has happened to you, blame yourself, or refuse to recognize what is going on, you will add to your own suffering. Accept what has happened, and you can become a stronger person on the other side, able to form meaningful bonds with those who have had similar experiences. In the upright position, with the girl and the wolf at peace on the top, it suggests a time of healing. Humans are social animals that evolved to thrive in community. Connection is the key to our survival and our highest goal. And it is connection with others and the world around you that will facilitate growth. Take care of your people, love your world, and you will also be taken care of and loving yourself. I need to work with my mass market version more. And I need to create a more developed bond with this copy of this deck. But it still remains to be said that This Might Hurt is my workhorse. It is my number one. It is my favorite deck of all the decks that I have acquired over this 1.5 years that I've been in the tarot community. This one speaks to my spirit. And this one, this one is what I best understand and what I best read. And I think, I don't want to say that I have my best readings with it, because I have good readings with all of my decks. And if I run across a deck that I'm struggling with, then I put a little more time into it. And if that doesn't give me a better connection with, like I have a deck now that I've just struggled with, and I can't make a connection with that deck for nothing. And I think it's the artwork in the deck. That here pretty soon I'm going to be finding another home for that deck. I'm undecided as to whether I'm going to do a giveaway on the channel and give the deck away, or whether I'm going to go on one of these Facebook groups and try to sell the deck to someone who truly wants it. So this is my deep dive into why This Might Hurt tarot is so near and dear to me, and what makes it such an important part of my practice and of my journey and of my understanding of tarot. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It will raise me in the algorithm, and I want my channel to grow. Also, to help me to grow, comment, or whether it's to help me to grow or not, comment down below. Interact with me. Let me know what you think about This Might Hurt. How do you use it in your practice if you own it? Or is it a deck that's on your wish list that you just haven't picked up yet? How do you use it? What do you think of my video today? Let me know what I could have done differently or better in this video or some of my others. Give me feedback. Make suggestions for other content you'd like to see me create. Some of the other content that I do on this channel is I do hashtag VRs to other YouTubers' content. I also do a flip through first impression of decks that I just acquired. Of course, I'm developing more into this series of the deep dives of decks that I've worked with for some time. And I also do daily collectives in between. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you will become a subscriber if you have not already subscribed. And I appreciate your support, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.